the mark of the beast confined to the tribulation period, he says. If so, why are Christians so concerned about it since we'll have been raptured by that point? Now, good question. This question is, if you believe in a pre-trib rapture, why are you concerned about the mark of the beast? It's a natural and a good question. And I might just add, maybe one of the reasons that so many are concerned about the mark of the beast is because they don't believe in a pre-trib rapture. And so if you believe in a post-trib rapture or no rapture at all, first of all, you ought to get my little booklet at dispensationalpublishing.com called what is it called? I should know this. Why I Am a Pre-Tribulational Premillennialist and You Should Be Too. That's the mouthful. That's the name for it. Why I'm a Pre-Tribulational Premillennialist. Get that little booklet. Available on Amazon as well. But a lot of people are not pre-tribulational premillennialists, so maybe that's why they're considering it. But let's just limit our discussion to those who do believe in a pre-trib rapture. Why still the emphasis on coming to know the mark of the beast? It's a good question, a legitimate question. And I see nothing really that brings the mark of the beast outside of the tribulation period. I don't see any evidence that the mark of the beast exists before the tribulation. And so I see no way that someone in the church age prior to the rapture, I see no way that a believer in the church age can accept the mark of the tribulation. So I don't think there's any reason at all we need to be concerned that we might accidentally take the mark of the beast. There is no mark of the beast today. It is yet to come. Now, if you look in passages like Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, you see a command to count the mark of the beast. It is the Greek wording there tells us that the mark of the beast will be calculable. And in fact, the same word is used in the present tense in Luke chapter 14, verse 28, which talks about, no man builds a tower without first counting the cost. And so literally there's the instruction in Revelation chapter 13 for those living in the days of the tribulation to count the number, to figure out. It's a calculable number. And in Revelation chapter 13, there's an indication, because it's in the aorist tense, I won't go into all that, but an indication that a person cannot count the meaning today. That's my conviction. You can't do the calculation today. There's a missing piece of the equation, and you just simply can't come up with the answer. But at a point in time in the future, you will be able to count and calculate. So I think Revelation, first of all, I think the entire book is written for those who are in the future, and there's some intriguing study we can do of it today, but we're not going to live through the book of Revelation, and so the instruction to count doesn't apply to us. So the only reason that a Christian should be interested in it, and I use the word interested, not concerned. I don't think we should be concerned about it. There's nothing wrong with being interested in it, and that only reason is the intrigue of Bible study. And I happen to be one who says there's nothing in this book, whether it applies directly to us or not, that we shouldn't have some intrigue in and dig in and want to study and roll up our sleeves. That's fine. But does it apply to us? Do we need to worry about it? Do we need to be concerned about it? No, I don't think so at all. Now, someone would come along and say, well, wait a minute though. We as Christians might inadvertently help pave the way for the mark of the beast. Now, if you take that approach, we might pave the way for the mark of the beast. First of all, I think you question a little bit prophecy and the fact that the mark of the beast is coming whether I pave the way or not. The mark of the beast is not something that I build. It's something that belongs to the beast and his father, Satan. And whatever I do or whatever we do, it's going to come about. But in addition to that, it leads, that kind of idea will pave the way, we might pave the way, leads to the endless adoption of fear-driven ideas. We're constantly looking at everything that comes along, wondering if it's maybe leading the way to the mark of the beast, and should we use a computer? Should we use a cell phone? Should we even use a rotary dial because it has a certain number of clicks that might lead, and endless fear-driven ideas. Now, I think that when we get into those fear-driven ideas, by the way, we're really hindering the gospel instead of helping the gospel. We live in a day and age in which our job is just to tell people that they have the opportunity to receive the free gift of God through Jesus Christ so that they can miss the wrath that is to come, along with so much more. And we don't advance the cause of the gospel when we come. In fact, it makes endless idiocy is what it does. When Christians, you've seen it before, they get worried about the UPC codes that are on the green beans, and should I even buy those green beans now because I got that code on them, or now it's the RFID chip and the concerns about this. Listen, these don't have anything to do with a calculable number, and they're identification and tracking marks and devices is what they are. And I think that Christians don't need to fear identification and tracking devices except for some issues of current reality that have nothing to do with the mark of the beast. I might say as a Christian, how much do I want government and business to know about us? It's a legitimate question. We get it in marketing all the time. Do we really want, Amazon to be able to know everything we want so that every website we can go to, they can put a picture of it? And we look at those things and we say, you know what? They know a lot about me. They're tracking me. They're following me. Now, that's not the mark of the beast, and it has nothing to do with the mark of the beast. And if the Antichrist someday uses that technology for the mark of the beast, well, he would have used it some other way anyway. I'm not paving the way for that. I think legitimately, I ought to ask some of these questions. How many tracking devices do I want, and how many are unavoidable in this world? That's a legitimate question for the day we live in today, not for the future tribulation. I think of the Soviet strategy was to get everybody out of the rural areas, move them into the cities, put them in high-rise apartment buildings. And that was because, of course, in those days, it was much easier to listen. Hear what's going on, to control the people if you've got them all gathered together. The UN, Agenda 21, I think is all about this too. Get people into sustainable communities, they call it. That is, I think, communities you can easily eavesdrop on. But, that is becoming something of another time because, now you got Alexa listening to you or whatever it may be. And I think we as Christians just have to decide how much monitoring do I want. Some are going to say, I don't care. They can look at my underwear drawer if I want. I have nothing to lose, nothing to hide. And others will say, no, I'm not going there. I'm not going to have any of that. That's almost impossible in this world, but some degree there. But let's remove all of this from maybe it's the mark of the beast. Maybe I'm helping the Antichrist. Maybe I'm even taking the mark of the beast. No, there is absolutely no reason there, and it is really, I just say don't get caught up in this, is this the mark? Is that the mark? Is he the Antichrist? Is this the Antichrist? Is it the Antichrist? That's something for another day and another time.